Hi and welcome to my new video. Let's see how we work together and create a new project. This project is very popular that I've seen in a lot of classes. Writing an ATM program. This ATM will have requirement that we need to work with, and from this requirement, as you see, I can create some overhead flowchart. And from this flowchart, I can start taking every piece of the flowchart and write a module that represent it. This module could be just a line of code, or it could be a whole maybe function, or even a class. So the point of having a flowchart to start with is try to put all the thoughts and all the ideas together in the flowchart, break it down into little pieces, all the algorithms or the approach that you will use to create that program in that flowchart, and then now all you have to do is focus on that one little block. This little block can later be taken and create another flowchart for it that can put all the details for it. It depends on how complex the module or the block is. In this case, for example, printing a welcome screen, that might be a small function that every time you call it, it will print that message for you. Or it could be, if it's something small like just one line of code to print welcome, it could be just a line of code. So let's take it from here. Good, so let's start looking at the flowchart and see how we created it. So in every flowchart, you always have to have a start that represents the start of the program and end, which represent where the program is going to go when it's done or when the user selects exit. Good. From the requirement that this project should have a welcome message, okay, a print menu. So this menu should fall or be created from this requirement. We have a requirement for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items in the menu. So the menu should have like option 1 and 2 to deposit money into checking account and into savings account. Also withdraw money from checking account and from saving account. So this is menu 1, 2, 3, 4. Next is a bonus, which would be transfer money from one account to the other. So you can transfer between money between accounts. And finally is the queue or quit, or you could have a 9 or 0 option or whatever to allow the user to select exit the program. Okay, so this is how I came up with this here. So we have a place where we sit and wait for a user input. This will be always running around in circle and root in a kind of infinite loop, but waiting for an input from the user. And the user will have a selection, either queue, which will end the program. If it is not, we go look for number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so on. And if it matches one of these, then the program will go and process one of these functionality, like deposit or withdrawal or transfer in this case. Good, so let's go from here and see the code. So I'm using replit.com for my IDE, and I have another video that I went through all the comparison and how to use it almost that you can benefit from if you watch it. If it is your first time. So in this online IDE and compiler, it allows you to create files, source files, and you can edit them and run it. And it's really the closest I found to Linux-based environment. Good. So I'm starting my main function, and I'm gonna print something. So based on the requirement, I have to print nice, let's say, welcome screen or welcome splash. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this here and use another one, and I'm gonna print welcome to my ATM application. Let's put some more details to it, and I am going to put the developer name. So developed, this will be your splash screen. So let's think about it. Should I keep that in my main, or should I create another sub-function and call it whenever I want to go back there? Let's do that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say void my splash screen and void, because this function, all it knows is every time I call it, it will basically simply do that. That's all it will do. So let's declare this up here so the main function can find it when you call it. And obviously I'm going to get rid of this here. Makes it nice and clean and simple. So I'm just going to say my splash. Okay, so let's call that. So now what we're doing, we are starting. This is here the start, and as soon as I start, I'm gonna print a splash screen. Next, I'm gonna do the same thing. I am going to menu manager, let's say. Okay, menu manager. What do you think I would have in my menu manager? Void menu. Before I forget, I always do that. I declare it up there. Number one. Number two, let's figure out how to call it. And now when I go here, what do I need to do? I need to kind of print something like this. So what we're gonna have here is, I'm gonna make it display, please. Good. So what menu items that I want to do? I'll give it the same, so I'm going to copy and save it this way. So one, it will be deposit, money, into so what I'm going to do is make use of that. I'll just keep updating it. So what I want to do is I want to deposit option number 2 into savings account. And checking account number 3 was going to be is withdrawal. And the same thing withdrawal. Money from and from savings. Next, I will use another menu that will transfer money. So let's say this way, and let's make it transfer money from chicken into savings. Just to make it simple. So the user will have to choose a specific menu from here. You could do it a lot of different other ways, but I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to use money, and this will be from savings into. I will use another menu that will transfer money. So now if I run this so far, my main menu my main function will start and display a splash screen, and then will print a menu and will allow the user to go forward and select an item. So far, it's only going to print. So let's run it and see. Good. So that's when you run it. You can see here is the output. And here is my welcome to my ATM application, my international school bank, developed by Hisham Al-Sagir. Here we go. Please select one of the menu items. And here are the items 1 through 6. And then the application exit, which I like to do always to show if something went wrong or what happened, but it should show in the normal process. So print screen, application exiting. Okay, so far I want to suggest very important step to click this button every line of code. That's a little too much if you just started, or every segment of code. Why? Because if something went wrong and you didn't see it and you don't know what it is, when you run this, you're gonna get an error, and this error hopefully will be easy enough to discover because you know what you just typed. And in this case, your line 26, and here is line 26. I can go and find that I was missing a semicolon. But I definitely will always suggest that you click this button. Make sure everything in your code is running correctly, and then go back and add some more code to it. Let's go back and see what this menu program can do. The menu can print the menu, and it actually can sit here and wait for a user input. So I'm gonna do here is wait for user input and capture that. Very good. So let's see. I am going to add a call to scan for F to capture, and I want to change this. I want to make it a character and the value into a value, but I don't have a value, so let's create value. So I'm going to say character value, and now I can store whatever the user captures in there. For now, I am going to return value, and this way, whoever called it, which is here in the main function, will be able to handle that. Great. So now I can come back here and say, okay, the splash screen is there. The menu manager is there. However, I need to add one more item, which is quit or exit the application. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say Q to exit my ATM application. So now the user will know if he or she presses Q, the option to exit the program will be there. Good. So now I am printing the menu. I'm handling, capturing some user input. Now I will return it to the main and here. So I have to have something to capture that input. So let's say I'm going to have another char here that is a user selection, right? And now I'm going to say user selection will be assigned that value coming back from user manager. Good. So let's print F, and I'm going to say user selection, and I'm going to put %C, and then I'm going to add a parameter, a second parameter, which is the user selection. So now I have my first section here taken care of. I have a start, I have an end. I will print welcome message, I will print the menu, I will capture the user input. Okay, here we are. So let's go here and clear, and then let's see if I can run it again, what will happen. Okay, so right now I have the welcome and this here, and then the program did not exit. The program is waiting on something. And if I enter 3, I should end going back to main and print the user selection was 3, which is correct. And here is my ATM application exiting. Good. Let me show you something here. We can rerun this app by saying main and press enter. This is just like Linux. You can re-execute, or you can execute your program. Here we go again. If I say Q, it will say selection is Q. Let's run it one more time. And if I say underscore Q, it will come back and say Q. So as you see, if I run it again, I say 1, it will say 1, and so on. So the user capturing is working fine so far. And as you see, now I need to take that user input, that selection, and use it somehow to make another part to work with. And for that, let's continue on my next video, and we'll see how we're going to do that.